I got news. I pieced together news. I came prepared for once.
Woo!
Yeah, we got stuff. First off, I was in a video gaming mood earlier, probably because I resubscribed to Game Informer. What better way to honor the stack of games that I still have yet to play and barely make time for than drool over new ones? So stumbled on some news. First off, earlier this week, or maybe just a couple days ago. Well, it's been rumored for a while, but apparently it was made real by
Jason Shriver, I think, or Schreiber, or something like that.
the Knights of the Old Republic remake is officially happening, and
Jason Schreier, yeah.
sure, yeah, and
it's not by EA.
not by EA.
Thank God.
Well, it's by Aspire, which is a dev team that is made up of they've recently acquired a lot of ex-BioWare people because a lot of BioWare people have jumped ship in the last year and a half. But
BioWare is the same thing as Blizzard right now. There's no OG BioWare devs left. Whereas same thing with Blizzard. Blizzard, the last OG, like Warcraft 2 and 3 dev, Jeff Kaplan just quit. So
Aspire, I've actually played a bunch of Aspire titles unintentionally, because Aspire handled all of the Star Wars Switch ports, and I hope that their lead team isn't working on those, and I'm pretty sure they're not because they're ports. But
oh,
the
Aspire
Padres report was not bad.
What's
no,
that?
Aspire did do the original.
What?
Aspire did Knights of the Old Republic.
Yeah, they're the ones that ported it from the PC version to mobile.
Oh, gotcha.
So
Yeah.
they've worked with the title before, but as I was saying, like I know the Clone Wars port is Clone Commando.
And Jedi Outcast is effectively unplayable because of the auto aim issue. Because what they did was the console versions originally had auto aim, like the GameCube and Xbox version. When they ported it to Switch, they didn't add any auto aim. So they use the exact same aiming system as was in the PC version, which you have a mouse. So like it made the game
doesn't work
brutally hard to the point where like to pass the first like 4 or 5 levels, I had to use cheats. I couldn't play the game if I didn't have cheats.
Jesus.
And it was very, very frustrating. And they still have the game came out over a year ago, and they like almost 2 years ago, and they still haven't patched it.
Damn.
It's very frustrating. And the Republic Commandos port supposedly like is sub 20 frames per second consistently.
Yeah, it's ridiculously low.
And
I haven't played that yet.
That's not acceptable for a release, like especially of games that came out over 20 years ago. You know, like this came out. Am I fucking Canadian? Apparently?
Yeah, you're a little too close to Canada up there.
Was this all the boot?
Yeah. So I mean, obviously, I know it's there's multiple teams within the same studio, but it seems sloppy. And if that's representative, that's what I've played of them. I've also, weirdly enough, am playing the mobile version of KOTOR right now, which is a fairly good port, I will say. It pretty much maxes out all the settings you had on PC 20 years ago. So it's decent.
The Pod Racer port is also pretty good as well.
I've heard good things about that. That's the only one that I haven't picked up yet. I'll pick it up on a sale at some point.
Playing that on the Switch.
You know, it was so weird. Out of the blue, I woke up just a couple days ago, just itching to play some like LucasArts classics. Specifically, the one that I've replayed the most.
Sam and Max?
Day of the Tentacle.
Full Throttle?
Day of the Tentacle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I woke up with like the music in my head, like for one of the areas, and I was like, fuck, that sounds good right now. And I realized I actually have the remastered edition, which came out just a couple years ago, I think.
For PS4?
PS4, it's on PC. I think I have like a GOG copy.
I want a remake of the original game, Maniac Mansion.
I saw there was like fan projects to remake it, but I don't know if they ever came to fruition. Another thing that was heavily rumored in the last couple weeks was some kind of news about the Metal Gear franchise. There's been a new Twitter account that appears to be an official Metal Gear Solid account, and it's been tweeting out some cryptic stuff like in character, like as an employee of the Big Shell from Sons of Liberty. I think there was more reports today. There were some sort of leakers are saying like, yes, in fact, they're remaking. It's one of those. They're not sure if
Metal
it's
Gear and Metal Gear 2.
They're not sure if it's going to be a full remake or just like remasters with up into 4K or something.
Because if they were gonna do new games or remakes of any kind, I feel like remaking Metal Gear and Metal Gear 2, not Solid, would make the most sense because most people have never played those games.
Yeah,
because they were only on the Amiga and
the MSX in Japan.
MSX, yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah,
not Amiga.
Number 2 got kind of a bastardized port on the NES, but that was it.
Yeah, I've played it. I've never gotten particularly far in it, but
yeah, they're pretty rough.
That's the one with the game art that has is clearly Kurt Russell, right?
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah. 100%. But yeah, some people are suspecting it's maybe they'll just port over the whole legacy collection of just all the games remastered,
like the PS3 version.
Yeah. I almost grabbed that a couple times, but I was like, am I really gonna spend the time to replay all of these? I don't know. But I don't know. That's one of those that it's like one of your favorite movies. Like, even if you've seen it 100 times, you're not even sure if you're going to use the disc ever again, but having that disc feels right to you.
See, but I mean, the truth is that if that was going to happen, it would be Konami doing it without Kojima.
Exactly, yeah.
Because Kojima has left the company, and there was some rumors that he was patching things up and he was going to bring back Silent Hills, and none of that seems to be accurate. And Konami, I don't know if you know anything about modern Konami, but all they do is make pachinko machines now. and
he's not lying.
I'm not lying. That's they literally just slap their franchises like Silent Hill, fucking Castlevania, and
so it's just gonna be
on pachinko machines, and that's how they make their money.
So that's all this news is going to add up to, is just a new Metal Gear themed pachinko machine.
The last couple times stuff like this has leaked, the last time it was a Silent Hill pachinko machine.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so I wouldn't get your hopes up.
I'll try not to get my hopes up. All right. One thing that did pique my interest, though, is that Shang Chi trailer this week.
Oh yeah,
so good.
Legend of the Ten Rings.
So I'm not really familiar with the property at all. I thought it was fun to see Aquafina in there.
So Shang-Chi has been around for a while now in the comics, but he really became, Marvel started pushing to the forefront of stories and stuff about 20 years ago. Yeah, and he's a martial artist. His father is super powered. It's not who it is in this version, though. I think mainly because they wanted to get away from the yellow face version of the Mandarin.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's the only thing that I'm vaguely familiar with. The Mandarin was leader of or part of that Ten Rings organization.
Yeah, he's the leader of the Ten Rings, and his rings are cosmic, and he was the main antagonist to Iron Man, but he also fought Fantastic Four and stuff.
Now we're talking about the real Mandarin now, not Trevor.
Not Trevor Slattery, no.
Although Trevor was fucking amazing.
Did you ever see the Hail to the King short?
Yeah, I love that.
So that's
so happy.
That was so long ago at this point. It literally was 8 years ago.
I think that might have been one of, if not the last of those Marvel shorts.
The shorts, yeah.
They did, yeah.
Well, because the shorts were really just them being we have this extra content we don't know what to do with. And then they made Marvel TV Studios, which, it was good, but good in a different way. I feel like Disney Plus, they could actually still do the shorts and they would still work.
Well, maybe as much as you've seen their the effort that they're putting into these the series on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
It makes me hopeful. Like, fuck, will we see a continuation of that? Will we get to revisit Justin Hammer and Armor Wars? And
like I said, if we don't see Justin Hammer in Armor Wars, I would be incredibly surprised.
yeah.
The other thing about Shang Chi is that it's the actor that plays him literally tweeted his way to fame.
Really?
Yeah, about 5-6 years ago, he tweeted at Marvel, "Hey, what about a Shang-Chi movie?" And then they like added him, and he's like, "Let's talk." And they cast him as Shang-Chi.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the only time that's ever worked.
Okay, who could I be in Marvel so I can start?
Because like a bunch of other actors have done this, like the weird fan casting and like adding on Twitter and stuff. Like, I mean, I think the most famous version of it so long ago was Donald Glover as Spider-Man,
Oh wow.
which he ended up in the franchise, but
Yeah.
he was a little too old to play Spider-Man.
Yeah. Speaking of more people being added to the ever fucking growing MCU, well, first off, we got news from the man himself, Russell Crowe, that he is coming in hot with lightning bolts for Thor: Love and Thunder, or Zeus, as
I fucking called it.
as Nick Fury. Well, Samuel Jackson said in was it Die Hard with a Vengeance? Said, yeah, Zeus. Don't fuck with me or I'll shove a lightning bolt up your ass, Zeus. So Russell Crowe is the Zeus in Thor: Love and Thunder, which I think we were talking.
Fun.
I think I was talking to Todd before. I didn't even know. I mean, I should have assumed because they put everything in the kitchen sink in there. But officially, the Greek pantheon, they're part of the Marvel universe.
The entire Greek pantheon is, but the two main characters that you see the most that'll pop up in mostly Thor comics, but he also has his own run of comics, is Hercules. Hercules pops up, and then Zeus pops up because obviously he's his fucking dad. So
yeah, right on.
And we also there also has to be gods for Gore the God Butcher to butcher. So
Gore the God Butcher.
I think we're gonna see some demigods get.
Yeah, that's who Christian Bale is playing. It's Gore the God Butcher.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think I saw headlines that there was some first set photos of him like with a shaved head or something. I didn't see them, but yeah, he's doing his Christian Bale thing. There was also news of Emilia Clarke joining Secret Invasion. So
Spider-Woman.
Spider-Woman, you think?
Ooh.
Yeah, I mean, they might not. So Spider-Woman in the so I'm guessing that she's playing a very large character because it's Emilia Clarke post Game of Thrones. So like
fucking Clarke, yeah.
Yeah. So
not quite the Triple Crown winner Ming-Na Wen, who is a Disney princess, a Star Wars hero, and a Marvel hero.
Yeah.
We've got Emilia Clarke, who's Marvel, Star Wars, and genocidal dragon lady.
Well, and also
Sarah Connor.
Oh, it's shit, Sarah Connor. Wow.
Yeah, from one of the many failed.
Hey, I liked that one. That was a good one.
I mean, it was probably the second least terrible.
It started strong.
It started strong and then ended fucking horrifically.
Which is kind of, I mean, I would say the same thing for Salvation as well. I enjoyed the first parts of that.
She would be really good casting as Spider-Woman, who plays a massive role in Secret Invasion. Probably is the most significant character in the entire story. Yeah. And Spider-Woman.
Do we really bring in Spider-Woman at this point? Because I think her
at that point,
her as Spider-Woman would kind of eclipse Tom Holland. She would kind of take the.
What do you mean?
the star
Spider
power
Woman is not a
spotlight.
very well known character.
It's not, but it's still a
She's
character.
big in the comics, but outside of the comics, like nobody knows who she is.
She's big in the comics. She is an icon that girls can latch onto and just go crazy for. And her as an actress is a huge A-list actress.
So I'm unsure if they're gonna tackle Spider Woman, but what they
Yeah, I
might
don't-
do is use the same storyline from the comics, just slightly change it, because the whole Spider Woman thing sort of requires like a bunch of previous knowledge of her character, and I doubt that they would introduce all this stuff just for her to play someone. Well, I don't want to spoil anything, so I'm going to avoid this, but that doesn't.
It's not of consequence.
That's not of consequence, exactly. So what I figure they're going to do is they're going to throw us a curveball and have her play something slightly different that ends up being as impactful.
They're not going to Bilbo Baggins us in
Yeah, exactly.
the last Cat movie. This is the actor that plays Bilbo Baggins in
Martin Freeman.
Martin Freeman. He was in Civil
War. Yeah.
Civil War, yeah.
And his character was kind of just a throwaway-ish character.
But what I meant by saying Spider-Woman is I think I know exactly the character she's playing, and if she does, if that's true, I think it's really good casting because she's got the right vibe.
All right.
That was so super vague because just like talking about Secret Invasion is hard because the whole sort of premise, if you know about it already, sort of spoils the whole plot.
Okay. I don't know shit about it,
so yeah, but I mean it's the entire it's about a Skrull invasion of the world, but it ends up being like who's the Skrull? And in Secret Invasion it ends up that like a lot of characters have been Skrulls for like a really really long time. Like the entire time we've known them.
Okay. But also in the MCU they flipped the script where the Skrulls
that's a faction. I don't think they're gonna stick with that. That was also in the 80s, so like shit changes.
Okay.
Like we used to be allies with Afghanistan, so you know, in the 60s, yeah.
Okay. Well, another bit that's been that was official news, but other rumors that have been going on for quite some time. We've been wondering what, if anything, is going to happen to our Netflix Defenders. In the last few days, there's been reports from insiders that at least some of the main characters, Charlie Cox's Matt Murdock, Bernthal's Punisher, and Kristen Ritter's Jessica Jones, will in fact return to the MCU. However, keeping the actors, but pretty much scrapping their stories, starting fresh in the MCU, which seems odd. But I guess if you're trying,
my only question is why?
Yeah.
Why not just acknowledge them? Like, there's no reason that you have to just ignore it. Like, it's not like it happened in a different universe. The stories were literally made originally with the idea that they were canon. So
I think it's gonna be like a Star Wars C canon type thing where they can pick and choose what they want to canonize and not canonize. Yeah. So it's in Star Wars the way it works is the anything in the books that happens is canon unless the movies or TV shows refute it. So that's probably what's going to happen here is they're just going to pick and choose what.
I just think it's really arbitrary, especially with like the rules that they've already set up. Like, you guys have the power to just canonize it. Just do it. Like, well, I don't know. This seems silly.
Again, this is all still in the rumor mill. There's nothing officially announced, so could be full of shit.
And haven't there been like a lot of rumors that Matt Murdock is in the new Spider-Man movie?
He was seen in London during filming for it with no other projects on his list.
Yeah, but isn't he English?
Well, I think he was doing something in LA for a while at that time. So he was supposed to be in LA. and then was spotted in London for 3 days during the filming, during the heaviest parts of filming.
There are Megan and I were talking about this a few days ago. There are so many Brits playing Americans in so many of our beloved properties.
Oh
like,
yeah,
a lot of times you forget.
pretty
and
much
you see it-
all of our best characters, almost all of them are played by Englishmen.
Yeah. And then you
or
see
like
it,
people
like,
from the UK.
I remember way back in the day when I first saw Andrew Lincoln in an interview for The Walking Dead, and he was using his natural accent, and I was like, "What the fuck?"
And it looks
clicked. I was
really
like,
fucking
"Oh, yeah."
weird
I was like, "Oh yeah,
he's
that's
all-
that guy from Love Actually."
when he's all Rick grimed up. He's all like grimy and long beard and like dark skin because they're out in the sun doing whatever they're doing in the zombie apocalypse, and then you hear
Yeah.
that clear British voice coming through.
Christian
Yeah.
Bale, Benedict Cumberbatch, Idris Elba.
Actor that plays Loki,
Tom
Yeah,
Hiddleston. Yeah.
Tom
Tom
Hiddleston.
Hiddleston.
Yeah. Speaking
Um,
of him and Loki, that was an interesting little bit. I mean, it's just kind of talk right now, but Marvel Studios VP of Production and Development, Nate Moore, was basically saying that it was in a conversation, and they were talking about all the different Disney Plus series coming out, and how we've kind of been talking about how they're just kind of one-offs, to fit into the ongoing story with the movies and everything. But he did kind of hint at specifically Loki, out of all of them, really does lend itself to multiple seasons in a way where
I felt it's also because his character is like isolated from everything, pretty much.
Yeah, because
he
it's not the
literally disappeared from the main timeline.
and it's not
Yeah.
the Loki that we know and love. It's a completely different Loki.
Alternate
that's
Loki, yeah.
like 8
Yeah.
years prior.
Yeah, but
So
specifically
he hasn't grown and evolved and had character arcs. We
Yeah.
can scrap all that silly character like canon.
Yeah. So, WandaVision, definitely a limited series with a completed arc, which will continue into the movies. But Loki specifically, he pointed out, was good for it. The structure of it definitely hints at, we can go on a lot of adventures for some time to come here.
And I was going to say that Falcon and the Winter Soldier could have done that too. And then they announced Captain America 4.
Captain America 4, yeah.
So I was like, oh, okay, well, that makes more sense. Though they
Which,
did
by the
say-
way, the rumors of a Chris Evans return is not even related to Captain America 4 as well.
Really?
Yeah. So that's also the rumor.
Interesting. So like, I honestly, I could take, and I'm just gonna go out on a limb here, and I have a feeling this is what they're gonna do. I think they're gonna do a Chris Evans limited series with him, the man lost in time, or like
Man at a time.
Man at a time, and just have stories of him and his alternate, or we don't even know, because the writers and the directors don't even know what it is. Just
that would
his
be a
stories,
good way to use him.
His stories of like working behind the scenes in the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s to like avoid catastrophe. You know,
him influencing but not directly acting.
Exactly. To make sure that like the good guys always sort of end up on top, and that would be really, really fun.
Just him just nudging things in the background.
Because we don't know a lot about the MCU during that time period, during those various time periods. And it would just be a really interesting, it could be really political. And Chris Evans, it's exactly the type of thing that I think he would want to do. Because I don't think he wants to do like the big like action stuff, but if it was something much more character based, I think he'd be into it.
Yeah, I could see that. In another little bit of MCU news, or again, I think this is just in the rumor mill for now, but a lot of these are coming from the typical sources that other things have been proven correct. Millie Bobby Brown is supposedly being courted by Marvel now for a multiple appearances in the MCU.
She would be good as a young Avenger.
X-23?
Nah, bring back the original, the actress from Logan for that.
She was awesome. Yeah, that would be great.
Supposedly
she's
that was
actually-
the idea originally, but
And-
that's why I'm like, I don't think that's gonna happen, is because it seems to me like they're making significant, like, that they're cutting ties to that universe.
Oh, the X-Men
Ralph
universe.
Boner, yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, Daphne Keene was X-23 in Logan.
she actually made like there was a giant like Twitter poll and Twitter petition for her to reprise her role.
Yeah, that would
Like
be
recently, like a couple of months back.
awesome.
I wonder what character then.
There's just a few weeks ago, there was some other like rumors that she was in talks as DCEU's Batgirl as well, but
I can see that.
who knows? Whatever. Marvel's just gonna keep swallowing up actors until like everybody.
I mean, yeah.
It's kind of like if you've seen a Harry Potter film, then you've seen every main British actor like in existence.
They got Julia, so they can get anybody.
Yeah, eventually Marvel's just gonna swallow.
What is Jerry
Like-
Seinfeld gonna end up in the MCU now? Ugh. Oh dear
God.
God, please don't let that happen.
What's the deal with all these superheroes?
Shut up.
Go away,
Snicked.
Gary.
Yeah.
Uh,
The claw through the brain.
what if we just keep? What if this train just keeps on rolling until eventually we're in this future dystopia where Marvel just becomes synonymous with movies? Like we just say, kind of like
They aren't already.
like we say like Kleenex instead of tissues. Like, oh yeah, you're gonna see new Marvel. Like, oh yeah, there's new Marvels out.
I mean, I
guess
don't even think we have to joke about that, man, because it's
mostly
already
there already.
No,
And
it's like it's sort of like a House of M. It's just House of Marvel, where like all of the cast of Marvel are just the rulers of Earth.
pretty much. Jesus.
I mean, it's pretty fucking true, actually.
It's kind of, yeah.
Because
And
they get cross cast into like Disney shit too. So like they pretty much, their careers
Yeah.
are made.
speaking of, Indiana Jones 5 just added another actor. Age of Ultron's Baron von Strucker.
Let me guess, he's gonna play a German scientist.
Oh, that'd be crazy. Thomas Kretschmann, yeah. I'm not really familiar with what else he's been in, but
I've seen him in other stuff randomly, but I'm not super familiar with his career.
one of those guys, one of those.
No, like as soon as they mentioned him, I was like, oh, he's definitely playing a German scientist.
There you go, yeah.
Or like a German, like fucking, like Indy's like hunting down. Let me guess, part of the movie will take place in Brazil
Sure, why
Argentina.
not?
or Argentina.
Yeah, I don't know. Did you catch that Modoc trailer?
I didn't. No, I missed it.
I haven't seen the trailer yet either.
It looks fun. It looks like dumb fun. New trailer for.
I'm a little skeptical of Modoc just because, like, the very concept alone, like that Modoc lives in suburbia. What?
It looks, yeah, they're taking the piss out of it. This is Hulu's animated Marvel series, Modoc, the supervillain. What does it stand for? Something only
Machine.
designed to kill or something.
Yeah. Machine only designed for something or other.
Oh,
I don't know.
Mental organism designed only for killing.
Yeah, I've never really been a huge Modoc fan, mainly just because I don't know. It's from that
It's
like
always been a tongue-in-cheek kind of character.
and he was used in like the Jack Kirby stuff in the 70s.
Whenever you
So-
need a B plot and somebody that comes in to try to murder everybody, that's who you go to as Modoc.
Yeah. Well, the trailer kind of sold me. I mean, Patton Oswalt is voicing Modoc.
Which is the only reason
it's-
why I need to watch it.
And it's him and John Hamm as Iron Man.
Iron Man, yeah. That's pretty fun.
Just,
Yeah, I
just
like that.
giving Modoc all kinds of shit. So yeah, it looks fun. So he's
So-
Modoc is basically like he's at this point he's failed in all his attempts to be a legit supervillain and do whatever he's trying to do. And so he's like the loser. And dealing with family issues and like his family falling apart, and he's got like 2 kids that he's trying to raise, and it's just it looks like wacky fun.
Let me guess, a plucky teenage daughter.
Well, there's a teenage daughter who looks just like him, like the big head. Both, I think there's like one regular kid and then one like big head kid. So, Nathan Fillion as Wonder Man.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah,
Simon Williams.
Oh yeah, we talked about that because I was like, wait, hasn't he been like, wasn't he supposed to play Wonder Man like 5 years ago or something?
Well, now he's doing it in cartoon form. Nathan Fillion as Simon Williams, aka Wonder Man.
Wonder Wham.
Wonder Wham. Who incidentally is sleeping with Modoc's wife.
That's Number Wang.
Yeah, you should check that out. It looks fun.
So that was a part of the slate of like 4 or 5 different Hulu projects that was announced by Marvel a couple like last year, right?
Yeah, I haven't heard a peep from any of the other ones. I forget what else.
Well, they had the Ghost Rider show that fell through, so there was that.
Oh, okay. The only other animated project I remember hearing around that time was the Master of the Universe one. That's Kevin Smith's thing, and that's coming together. Yeah, I don't know. Well, it's a shame Meg's not joining us for this podcast because so she did talk about this. There was a trailer for Adventure Time. I don't know how familiar you guys
the last movie.
This is the 3rd one, actually. I thought they were saving this for the last one, but apparently not. Maybe something changed with production. But so they've been doing the Adventure Time specials, Distant Lands, and they're 4 little like one-off movies that have been. 2 of them aired last year, 2 more are coming this year, and this next one, which is just in a few weeks, together again. It's Finn and Jake, and so it's their whole special. Mm-hmm. So there was a trailer for that. It looks fun. If you're an Adventure Time fan, I'm sure you'll love the shit out of it.
We had our first bits of news for the John Wick spinoff series.
The
Continental.
Right? Yeah,
the Continental. So it's going to be set 40 years prior to the events of the John Wick series, and it'll focus on Ian McShane's character as a younger assassin.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah.
I think the most interesting tidbit about that was that the episodes are going to be 90 minutes long.
Yeah, 90 fucking minutes. That's
so they're going to be movies.
Movie a week. Yeah,
pretty much.
So they're obviously not going to be doing very many episodes. I would imagine 5,
like a 4 to 6 run.
6, yeah.
Now, who the hell could you cast with the presence to be a young Ian McShane?
So Reddit actually came up with this pretty well. This guy, he actually really looks like him. You probably won't recognize him because you still hasn't fucking watched it, but Rufus Sewell from A Knight's Tale looks almost exactly like a young Ian McShane.
Rufus Sewell. Holy
yeah, but A Knight's Tale came out like 20 years ago.
But
I know this guy from other stuff.
Ian McShane is like 80, so he's still young enough to play a 40-year-old.
Sorry, I know this guy from Dark City.
Okay, Dark City. Who is this guy?
Yeah, I think he was the main guy in Dark City.
What's his name?
Rufus Sewell.
Sewell, Sewell.
Oh yeah, he's also in Man in the High Castle. Yeah, and he's the main character in Dark City.
Right. Yeah. Oh, this dude, he's no spring chicken. He's 53.
Yeah, but Ian McShane is 80, so he can easily play a younger Ian McShane.
Yeah, I guess they could fudge it. Yeah.
I'm guessing they're probably going to go with somebody younger, but I mean, yeah, that'd be decent casting. I like him. He's a good actor.
Yeah, for sure.
He was really good as
Meg has joined the party.
Gruppenführer.
No one cares.
In Man in the High Castle. Hi. He was like the leader. He was like the regional leader of the like Nazi states of America.
I vaguely remember his face. Meg and I watched 2 episodes of that and got bored.
Yeah, that show was supposed to be right up my wheelhouse, and it was the same way. I watched 2, maybe 3 episodes and got bored.
I read the book, but I read it so quickly I didn't really remember.
The book and the show are really, really different. The book is pretty much like the first season, and then they go like way, way different.
Isn't that kind of like you said about Elizabeth Moss?
Handmaid's
Oh, The Handmaid's Tale. Yeah, Handmaid's Tale does pretty
Well,
much.
I haven't read Handmaid's Tale, so.
I have, and that is the case.
I think the reviews for the latest season are just ended already, for fuck's sake.
Don't tell me I haven't watched it yet.
Oh, The Handmaid's
Tale.
I don't know anything. I've never watched.
The whole thing is that
any
like
of it.
they already live in this like horrible like feminist dystopia. Not like feminist dystopia. Like it would be horrible to be a woman in these circumstances.
Oh hell yeah.
Like it was already a dystopia, and then we sort of got into like the Women's March and like real dystopia. So it was like, how do we? But also they like didn't bring like women of color into this at all. So like, I don't know. It just seems like their version of this like horrible like male dominated Christian dystopia can barely keep up with the real world. So
yeah, it's always a weird dance. Like, I mean, it's good to have interesting content that kind of touches on real world issues, but at the same time, sometimes you get to a point where it's so close that it's a little. Sometimes you don't want to be reminded about.
All of my female friends and family that have watched it, they like hate watch it because they're like, it's so distressing. It's like watching. It's too real, and it's sometimes too much, and like there's so much rape and like sexual abuse, and
it's a show that after like maybe 2
forced
episodes,
birth and stuff like that.
You need a break from it because
you need your own Lifetime movie shower.
Yes.
It's like the same thing that like black folk are saying about like constantly being subjected to black pain on television recently, like like Them and Watchmen, and like getting the Oklahoma,
like every movie is like a slave rehash movie, or talking about the black struggle.
So we've been getting a lot of it, and I like in some ways I think it, like Us was really good and Get Out were really good because the stories really required that narrative, and it used it well. But there's a lot of people saying that like now people are just trying to bank on that, and they know that it sells. So now you're like banking off of black pain, and people are like, give us a fucking break. Let us we don't need to see black bodies destroyed on screen every single time.
Yeah, it's funny that not that we are in any way authorities to talk about these matters.
No, I am the whitest motherfucker on the planet.
It's blinding. I have to reduce the brightness on my laptop when I talk about it.
He's not kidding.
I love that how you've been the last few times we've been chatting. You're also like right butted up against that wall. So it reminds me of
my skin tone is like really like when I go like this, you can't tell the difference.
Saying that how he's still living in
trapped in the void.
Yeah. No, but I was listening to I think Ron Funches was on Whitney Cummings' podcast a few days ago, and at some point they were talking about that in conversation, how like it's everywhere right now, and that kind of content. And Ron Funches was like, can I just be a black guy on TV and not have to be a slave or like oppressed in 1,000 different ways or something? I forget his exact wording, but he was basically saying like let me breathe for a minute.
I went back and revisited a bunch of 90s. I've just been revisiting a lot of 90s media recently, and I started rewatching A Different World during
oh man,
and it's so good, and it's just like about her going to college. She's not dealing with racism, she's not dealing with like having nooses tied around her doorknob and shit. She's just a black girl going to college, and it is very refreshing. It is maybe a little too ignorant of race sometimes, but it is very refreshing.
Well, yeah, God, I forgot about that show until you remember.
It's fantastic. It's a really
yeah. I remember loving that when I was a kid. Like I like watched like bits of Cosby Show reruns, like those like elementary school summers where I was like raised by the TV. Because
yeah, I mean,
but I was watching like
shows,
2-hour blocks of Saved by the Bell, and then eventually
Yeah.
they started airing A Different World, and I was like, oh, what's this? Oh, that's that girl who's on the Cosby Show, and then I got obsessed with that show. But what you're talking about, kind of like, and again, it's weird to talk about this because depending on who you're talking to, like some people have very strong opinions, like, no, it's your duty to speak about issues and things like that. And then sometimes you just want to enjoy just enjoy
their stories,
everyday
stories from that
stories.
community.
Yeah. And the feeling that you're talking about getting from A Different World, where she's just a girl going to school, that very much reminds me of the feeling that I got and just kind of had like an epiphany moment when Meg started getting me to watch Schitt's Creek, and how, you know, Dan Levy,
Bi erasure is real.
There's they're like, they have like funny situational moments, you know, because of his sexuality, but it's not a show where he's not constantly fighting oppression. There's
He
not
doesn't have to perform. He doesn't have to.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to legitimize his identity to unknowing
it just is.
ignorance.
It just
you know?
is. Yeah, it was a world where it just is. He's that person, and it never really comes into question. The only time that they ever even start to
talk about it is when he's interested in two different people, and he feels like maybe he has to cater to one more than the other. But
so
it's
and then his fiance,
yeah,
Patrick.
Yes.
Patrick, yeah. When that's the only time they really make it like a theme of the episode was him being terrified to come out to his parents. Yeah. And even then it was like, they were like, oh, we feel bad that you were afraid to tell us, you know, like it's fine, you know, and that was great. Oh,
and Dan Levy, he said that was a very intentional thing. They wanted the show to not be painful to watch.
Yeah, he wanted it to be a fun experience. He wanted it to be like a breath of fresh air to just sit and enjoy the show and have a good laugh.
Yeah. See, and it just proves that these conversations are all cyclical, because the reason why shows like A Different World and Moesha and you know, these black sitcoms in the 90s, the reason why they existed in the first place was because it was an intentional act after the really devastating like 70s and 80s for black people. And then, you know, after Rodney King, there were a lot of these same types of discussions happening 20 years ago that are happening right now, of we don't want to see black people suffering. We don't want roots. We don't want, I mean, those things are important, but it can't be everything. So like that
every
community
show does not have to be that. Yeah.
Exactly. So that's why you got all these like very affirmational black sitcoms in the 1990s that were doing the same thing. And with like shows like Schitt's Creek, this is really the first time a gay show or like a, you know, queer show gets to do something like that. I'm not saying it's the first, because there are many shows that, you know, mainstream audiences don't necessarily get access to, or at least aren't interested in. But it's the first time a show like that has really struck out and made it big, and a bisexual character that's, you know, mainly or ends up mainly dating men and married to a man is really the forefront and of that type of affirmational show. And it's very refreshing. I really, it's nice.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It deserves all of the awards and more that it got.
And it got
a movie.
Yep.
Yeah. Isn't it funny how we were talking about Modoc 10 minutes ago, and
hey, that's getting off topic for you.
we got all fucking deep. Well, going back to my ridiculous comic book shit, Young Justice. I don't think I even saw the third series they finally did. But
yeah, I actually never saw it. I need to go back and finish it.
It was an exclusive for the DC.
I saw the first episode. Yeah, for DC, yeah, it was an exclusive for DC Unlimited. But since DC Unlimited isn't a video streaming service anymore, and all of its content went over to HBO Max,
Nice. I have to grab that. It's been so long. I'm gonna have to rewatch the whole show because I mean the first.
Oh yeah, I mean you should though because it's just so good.
It's so fucking
And
good.
they're short seasons too. I think they're only like 10 or 12 episodes.
Yeah. So we got an update from Greg Wiseman. God, I can't talk tonight. Greg Wiseman.
Keep drinking, Tony.
I'm not even drinking. I skipped the fun part. He gave a season 4 update. Basically, they're a little over halfway through production on season 4. So it's coming. They don't have any like date exactly or estimated yet, but they're working hard at it. And
well, being that the third season took like 6 years to make.
Well, they were dead in the water. Like the show.
No, I know.
And it was the fan outcry that helped bring interest back up on it.
It seems to me that animated shows, it always takes a really long time for them from green light to airing, but then the second season usually is like half the time.
Yeah.
Still takes a long time, but
it takes them a while to pick up steam and get the engine running again.
Because like remember when Lower Decks was announced like 3 years ago.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. And then it took forever for the first season.
And then season 2 is coming out less than a year after the first season premiered.
Yeah.
Speaking of updates on shows with new seasons, we have confirmation from Netflix that The Witcher and Cobra Kai will be coming out this year.
How funny. I was just going to bring that same thing up. I've got the article up on my on my computer right now. Yeah.
Cobra Kai 2021.
I've heard nothing but good things on Cobra Kai. I got to jump on that.
Yeah, I probably will because like somebody was mentioning they were like Cobra Kai is how you reboot a long dead franchise, and I was like, huh, because like there's a lot of, and we were talking about this with Ghostbusters the other day, is if there's something that's really good about a franchise, do you constantly try to remake the thing that people liked about it in the first place, or do you explore and do new things with it? Because like with Ghostbusters, it's only ever been a horror comedy.
So I think you have to explore and do new things, but that doesn't mean you have to forget and not utilize what has come before. I think that's what a lot of remakes now.
Because Cobra Kai is like pretty different from the Karate Kid, like
it's pretty different, but it also uses elements and it uses actors from the original. It's like the sequel or the remake that they did with fucking Jackie Chan and
Jaden Smith.
Will Smith's kid, Jaden Smith.
Yeah. Well,
it's
and
not
then
even
what about
the fucking Karate Kid. It's not even the Karate Kid.
What about the one with what's her name?
I don't care about that because I'm being righteously pissed off about this one. It's the Kung Fu Kid because there's no karate being performed. It's an all Chinese cast with the exception of Will Smith's kid. How is that karate? Rant over.
It's not.
Rant over.
You're right. It's not. I also never saw it because it looked really stupid.
It was not great. Yeah, I've heard nothing but good things, and I would agree. I think it's, but I mean, of course, this is different for everybody. But for my personal taste, my personal preference, it's nice to see, as opposed to just a shameless cash grab reboot, like
Last Ghostbusters.
Yeah, or that Kung Fu Kid, as it were. When you can still play in the same universe, honor in whatever small way the connections to the original films or series or whatever, doesn't mean you have to be like constantly beholden to it, but show that it's a continuation of that original universe and branch off into new interesting directions.
For example, like if they do a Short Circuit reboot, they should include his characters.
I was just thinking about Short Circuit. That's so
they just
weird.
Don't have to do the brown face again.
Yeah, right. It's not going to be bringing back
Fisher Stevens.
Oh boy.
Everyone's passwords are sex and God.
The plague.
No, yeah, they'll skip Fisher Stevens. It'll be Hank Azaria next time.
So I was just thinking, that's so weird that you mentioned Short Circuit, because I was just thinking, like, I think it's really weird how we all have varying levels of affinity for these like 80s like family comedies that we grew up with. Like
Oh.
Karate Kid, I was like sort of into it. I saw them all, but like I don't know, I wasn't super into them. Short Circuit, fucking love Short Circuit. Like
Because my
Teenage Mutant
dad
Ninja
had a
Turtles movies,
wall.
like super into the first two, didn't really like the third one.
What are you talking about? The third one was
Third one is
amazing.
fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
Whatever. The
Yeah.
first one is amazing. The second one is pretty good, and the third one is, yeah. And then like Home Alone, like the first two are good. So like like varying affinities.
Well,
Like
when you got rid of Macaulay Culkin, it's just not the same.
yeah. I feel like that's a franchise they could bring back.
Yeah, that one absolutely is, but only if
I
they use
actually,
Macaulay
weirdly
Culkin.
enough, I like had this like fever dream a couple months ago when I was sick, and I was like, oh, Home Alone would make a really good VR game. I was like, whoa, that's sort of brilliant. You like set up traps around, and like you have to like fight them off, and like you have. Anyways, I think somebody should make a Home Alone themed VR game.
Make it
Where they
happen,
make,
Become a
guy.
developer and
where they
do it.
make where you set up what's the term for those types of traps?
Booby traps?
Improvised.
Explosive devices.
It's not. Anyways, I'm close to it. I just too
It's a
much
trap.
ecstasy a long time ago.
It's a trap.
You
Anyways,
set up a giant mouse trap board game.
and then you go yes. Whenever like you cause like near fatal burns to their 90% of their body.
Yep.
So like, was he a sociopath? I mean, I'm pretty sure he was a sociopath, right?
Of course, he had to be. He was the youngest kid in a family of like 10.
Also, like the good son, he played that role really fucking well.
God, that was such
Really
a creepy
well.
movie.
Yeah.
Maybe because mostly my brother is like the good son.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, there's a few of those like 80s, like late 80s, early 90s properties where like the precocious young scamps in hindsight were fucking terrible. Like the what is it, the YouTube series like Zach Morris's Trash, where they basically out Zach Morris is like this fucking monster.
Also,
Oh yeah.
fuck you, Tony. For some reason, like we mentioned this on a podcast before, and I don't know how it got into my YouTube recommendeds because I never searched for it. We only talked about it on this podcast, and that became like the every other recommended
It
video
became like
on my
the touchstone of your entire YouTube channel recommendation.
yeah. It was just Zach Morris's Trash. Random video, Zach Morris's Trash. Random video, Zach Morris's Trash.
Oh, sorry. It must have been my my 5G chip. My
That's another one.
No,
Three
it's
Ninjas.
the fucking YouTubes and Facebook algorithms that does it
Yeah.
to us.
Three
Oh,
Ninjas.
Three Ninjas was amazing.
Surf Ninjas.
Surf Ninjas. Well, wasn't that?
It was garbage, but also amazing.
I have very vague like flashes of moments in those movies, and I'm not even sure if I'm combining the two. Three Ninjas and Surf Ninjas. Didn't
Are
they
completely
like
different franchises.
But
Yes.
didn't they have a similar like Home Alone style? Like they had to fight off burglars.
Oh yeah, it was pretty much the
Yeah.
exact same plot.
That's like every 90s
That
kid
was the
movie.
plot. That was the plot from the first Surf Ninjas. Is they come to kidnap the kids, and the guys are dressed as like pizza delivery guys.
Right. Yeah.
And then in Three Ninjas, their grandfather was like a famous martial artist or something.
He's a famous ninja. He's literally
Yeah.
a ninja.
But like all three
It's
of them
Mr.
were like
Miyagi.
super white and like did
Yeah.
not look
Asian
like,
at all.
in any way, shape, or form. Yeah.
Oh,
I
God.
always was super confused about that. And like I understand that like, not everybody, you can be passing and not passing, but like that was not this. These were clearly just white actors that had like no representation going on whatsoever.
About as believable as Chris Farley's Beverly Hills Ninja.
Yes, effectively.
I just
yeah.
watched that the other day. Oh, I love that movie. I love that movie so much. It's so fucking bad, but it's amazing.
I don't remember the actor, but the original Liu Kang. What was his name?
He plays the brother of
the brother.
Chris Farley.
Chris
Wait,
Rock was in
what?
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the original Liu Kang actor. I don't remember his name,
I
but
think
he was
Chris Rock actually makes that fucking Robin Show.
Robin
is
Show.
the-
There you
Oh,
go.
okay.
Yeah.
Chris Rock makes that fucking movie. Like it's already good with Robin Show and Chris Farley, but Chris Rock is the
This is like a bellboy, like
the
a
bellboy at the
hotel
hotel.
bellboy. Yeah. God dang. Oh, another one from Netflix that was uh, all of these are coming out like fourth quarter of this year, like fall, winter sometime. Season 2 of The Witcher, Cobra Kai season 4, and also one, Meg, that you liked, that You.
Oh yes.
Yeah, it's like the guy who's
like creepy stalker dude that like kills these women.
yeah.
Spoiler alert.
So season 3 of that also coming later this year.
Season 2
Wait.
was so good.
Wasn't there like a whole thing about the actor from You?
What whole thing?
A thing?
Yeah.
What's the actor's name?
Penn Badgley?
Didn't it turn out that he actually is like a real creep?
I don't know.
I
He
don't know.
looks like he could be.
Really fits
He
the
plays
profile.
it really well.
I think you're thinking of the other guy that had the bit of like weird stuff come out that he actually likes like literally licking blood off of wounds and stuff like that. I don't remember what I think it's Army Hammer or something like that. Or
Oh, there was definitely Army
I'm not thinking about Army Hammer.
in the last couple months or whatever.
I just want to mention like Army Hammer. That dude's life is fucked. He went from like being like the next potential, like almost being the next potential superstar for like a decade to his career is over for the rest of his life.
I haven't heard about what happened. Tell me.
he's just into like some really weird fetishes.
Well, there's also claims that he like raped and sexually abused his ex-girlfriend. So
Jesus.
Yeah.
Oof. All right.
Okay.
And like a lot of really credible rumors that he like sexual battery and stuff. And like getting consent, but like not actually getting consent, then being like, I was terrified for my life. I was going to say anything.
Like going overboard with beyond consent stuff.
Yeah.
Jesus. And then he went to return some videotapes.
I mean, he really is like a fucking like American Psycho.
Jesus. Let's
moving on.
Yeah, moving on. So there are further reports. Daniel Reichman, I don't know how you pronounce it, but it's the insider that's attached to a lot of these
leaks
from TV leaks. Yeah, but apparently that Disney is still gung ho about a Firefly reboot, minus Sweden, of course.
Yeah, there's no way they can do it with Whedon.
Yeah.
Like the Nevers is going to get canceled after probably, I'm guessing, this season or next season. It's not going to have like.
They own the Fox Studio rights, so they don't have to work with him.
Yeah, that makes me very conflicted. Just because
he'll probably get some financial compensation for the rights.
Well, if they use any characters that he created, then he will.
Even the name of the universe. The universe itself is probably copyright to him as well.
I don't know how that works with that specifically. I do know Writers Guild stuff. If they use any of the characters that he created, then yes, he definitely gets money. The universe, I think, is a little bit in concepts. I think is a little bit more gray area.
Well, I mean, I couldn't just make a Star Wars movie right now and just it's in the Star Wars universe, but it doesn't use any of the characters. It's all original, and call it mine. I mean, that's
the
not...
Writers Guild rules about that are very specific, but they're also arcane. Like trying to understand how and why writers get money for the stuff that they write is really, really weird. It's like, for example, there are Star Trek episodes where like a writer created a character, and the reason why they didn't use that character in spin-offs is because anytime they use that character in an episode, and if they were like a main character, they'd have to pay that writer for every single instance of that character, which would be the entire franchise or
Yeah.
the entire show. So they're characters that weren't used because they'd have to pay writers because they created the character. So like there's weird inconsistencies like that. So that's why I mean like they could I think the rules are the way that it works with the WGA is they could set it in the universe and they don't have to pay him unless they use characters that he created. But he is also an executive producer on the show, so he'd be getting money because created by and all that. So even them using a show that he created, he's going to be getting some financial compensation from.
Interesting. Well, in other old shows coming back, well, this one's going to be a spin-off. I only bring this up because I don't know if you were a fan at all, Byron, but I remember me, Todd, and our old coworker Lloyd were all up in How I Met Your Mother back in the
Lloyd.
Oh yeah, actually, I am a really big Him fan.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I realized ever since it's weird. Like Meg and I, like to this day, when we're flipping channels late at night and we need something to like veg out to before bed, sometimes we'll land on a Friends rerun. And even though we've seen them a billion times, we still end up watching it. How I Met Your Mother, not so much. Like, I mean, I guess probably just because it's not as like fucking everywhere as Friends always is,
or nostalgic.
But yeah, it's like I really thoroughly enjoyed How I Met Your Mother through the whole run. But since we finished watching it, I haven't really had any desire to go back.
It's the Game of Thrones issue. The series ended so horrifically that you've lost all interest in
used to be Lost before that, and before that it was X-Files.
The payoff was not great for How I Met Your Mother, and to be honest, it was also a show where I hated the main person, Ted. I thought he was terrible.
Fucking Mosby.
Yeah.
Fucking hated him.
They should just rename the show to How I Wanted to Bang Your Aunt.
I realize what you guys are getting at. I think I've actually seen the show all the way through like 3 times.
Oh shit.
But that's
same.
because before it ended, for a while I was really into the show. I really, really liked it. I discovered it during the 3rd season, and then I just like went crazy for it. And right before it ended, I rewatched it entirely. But prior to that, even I was rewatching it consistently. So I've seen almost every single episode at least 3 or 4 times.
Fun fact about that show,
except for the last 2 seasons.
I broadcast that show to the city of Coronado on their public access channel for about 12 hours one day on accident.
Like Coronado Island, like where I went to high school. That's really weird.
So we had access to the programming on the Coronado public access channel. We were the ones that broadcast it.
Okay.
And it was in the same DVD deck that we used to play DVDs in the office if we wanted to put it up on one of the big TVs. Well, I fucked up the buttons on the switcher. So not only did it go to the TVs in the office, but I was also playing it on their public access channel for about 12 hours.
People are like, why are we seeing DVD menus on public access?
Why are we watching an entire season of How I Met Your Mother with no commercials?
So
That's
awesome.
I
mean, I like that. It's I'm a big fan of the show, but I did try and rewatch it a couple of years ago. Oh, Barney.
There's definitely some problematic issues.
Yeah, Barney is super problematic, and even Ted is like pretty problematic.
I would say Ted is more problematic than Barney. Barney at least is open.
They're both problematic in their own ways, definitely.
Yeah, they're problematic in their own ways, but Barney is at least open and admits he has flaws, and secretly is more open than he actually publicly portrays.
At least he's open that he's a misogynist and not like
he knows he is, whereas Ted is ignorant to that.
So when did that show premiere?
2005.
Okay. So 05,
it was still pre-wokeness.
Yeah, it was a couple years
largely,
before. So just a couple years before, but roughly in the same era as Iron Man 1. the absolute, womanizer who eventually reveals his heart of gold or grows.
But also like a 40-year-old virgin and Knocked Up were around the exact same time. And I've always felt like How I Met Your Mother was really going after that exact same, like, this is an Apatow comedy, but a show.
Yes.
Mhm,
Yeah. They were definitely trying to imitate.
It absolutely, I mean,
Freaks
it's
and
got a
Geeks.
lot of the same actors. That's why Jason Segel's in it, and that was immediately after he came off of Undeclared, which I think was actually the last thing he did while while he was unemployed for those couple of years. But I do like the show. I don't dislike the ending as much as some people do, mainly because I really like Kristen Milotti. She's so amazing. She's such a great actress.
Yeah, she's good.
Yeah,
she's
but
just
then
like
you kill her
phenomenal
off.
in everything she's done. Yeah, that was.
If they had her in the show longer, then we could have maybe loved her more, and then it would have been more like heartfelt or tugged at your heartstrings type of thing. But for them to just introduce her and then kill her off so quickly, it just felt like a slap in the face.
But I also knew it was going to happen.
Well, yeah, most people had speculated that
I
the wife...
called the Robin thing in like the second season, and because
Exactly.
it's just like the way that these guys have read Save the Cat, and they're gonna structure their story around like wrapping up the beginning with the end, and there's no way that they're not gonna do that.
Mhm.
It's too important to the beginning of the show for it not to have been the beginning that they laid out at the beginning. This was always the plan, so it didn't really bother me that much.
Yeah, it was fine. It felt a little lackluster for me. It didn't enrage me or anything, but I was just like, okay, I guess that works.
The other interesting thing is that this is the second failed spinoff, or not failed. This is the second spinoff.
Yeah, so
the
we didn't
previous attempt was failed.
Right, yeah. We didn't even come back around to what the headline was. So it was in the news this past week that Hilary Duff, is going to star in a spinoff, How I Met Your Father.
Oh, jeez.
Now, how connected, if at all, this will be to the original series, I don't know. But
I would bet that this takes place in the same universe, and there's going to be constant allusions to characters, and
pineapple will pop up like 15 fucking times.
It's these because is it the same showrunners?
The original creators are on board as executive producers. Actually, showrunning are the creators of This Is Us, Isaac Apteker and Elizabeth Berger.
Oh,
so
okay.
I don't know. I've never watched This Is Us, but isn't that a show where everybody like cries dramatically every week or something?
Yeah, I am not a fan personally.
Okay.
But I know people who love it.
Right.
Seems like a show I would have really liked when I was like 16.
Okay.
Though I do want to talk about the failed spinoff for a second, because I really, really wanted it to happen. Because it was created, or it was both created, or at least they were going to get the showrunner and head writer to be Greta Gerwig. Greta Gerwig was originally going to be the writer, the head writer, the showrunner, and the star of the show, and she pitched it to them, and it was only like, it was announced before the original had even ended, and then they shot a pilot even, but it wasn't picked up. And I really, really like Greta Gerwig, and it was around the time where it was before she did Lady Bird and Little Women, but she had already written Frances Ha, and so she was a big deal at the time. But it's sort of a good thing that she didn't do it, because she never would have directed two of my favorite movies.
All right. Okay. One last thing, just to end on a high note, because I thought this was pretty hilarious. First of all, for some reason I keep forgetting that this Borderlands movie is coming.
Yeah, it's so weird.
With Eli Roth directing, of course, and the talent on the. So this is funny. Byron, it might have been your first episode with us, maybe, where I distinctly remember at some point we got to talk about Eli Roth movies, and you're like,
And I was like, I don't
fuck
like him.
Eli Roth.
Yeah, I don't.
Like, and then like after that last episode,
I was like, oh, you know what? Actually, I don't like. He's pretty cool.
yeah, the Joe Bob season 3 premiered
Yeah.
with Eli Roth. Like, holy shit, that guy is really well versed in horror. And he's,
I didn't realize that he actually does really, really know his shit.
yeah,
It's just that I don't like his movies.
that's cool. I like some of them, but
I like.
I'll
one
still
or
say
two.
fuck him because one of the worst movies I've ever sat through was with him. It's like some indie like disaster movie
Oh,
from
I think I know the one that you're talking about.
like Brazil
he
or
talked-
Argentina.
He's actually talked about that movie. Supposedly it was a friend of his and he got roped into doing it and he's like regretted it.
Because
I don't know
it's
which
the
one that is.
worst movie I've ever fucking watched.
Yeah, it was like a favor to a friend and it ended up like tarnishing his career.
Well, Todd, have you watched The Room by Tommy Wiseau?
ugh,
I have, and it's worse than that.
Jesus.
At least
Does
the room you can joke about and you can laugh about. This movie had no redeeming qualities whatsoever.
Okay. Anyway, the only reason I bring up the Borderlands movie, this isn't even actually news. I just thought it was funny as hell. So I forget the star power that is actually behind this as well. Jamie Lee Curtis is in the movie.
Fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, Kate Blanchett. But Jamie Lee Curtis posted on Instagram a couple days ago because somebody fucked with her and as a joke left a little cup of Activia yogurt in her trailer on the set of Borderlands. So she posted on Instagram a little picture. She's like, okay, haha, I can take a joke. Like my bowel reputation in America has preceded me all the way to the set of Borderlands.
So you know what I think is interesting is that Jamie Lee Curtis is working with Eli Roth and it's not on a horror movie.
Yeah.
That's two horror icons.
Mm-hmm.
He's doing a Tarantino.
Yeah. Well, she's still got 2 more of the new Halloween movies to
Yeah.
finish up. That second one should have been out last Halloween, but
Yeah, that's right. Is it
Yeah.
coming out this year?
yeah, it's going to be this Halloween.
So they're going to repeat the plot line from Halloween 4 and she's going to be the killer, right?
I have actually never seen Halloween 4. That's I know it's a big gap in my
I mean, it's the second best Halloween movie.
I've seen the first 3. I saw the Rob Zombie one, and then this latest one, the latest reboot one or whatever.
So I want to clarify about the noise that I just made. It's not that I hate Rob Zombie because I like some of his movies. I just really dislike his Halloween remakes.
I didn't mind them.
That is
Remember that type that plays Twisted Metal? Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh man. We got some stuff that was watched this weekend. We should get around to talking about. Yeah. So first off, not the Falcon, Captain America and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
It's a nice little end title card there at the end of the episode.
No,
What did the final episode end up being titled? Because I know when it premiered, they didn't put a title on it.
One World, One People.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, the Flag Smashers bit.
Flag Smashers.
The G.I. Joe villain?
Yeah.
Flag Smashers.
I'm sorry. I can't.
I mean, the Flag Smashers are pretty much Cobra, right? Like,
Yeah. No, I just did the Skeletor. Yeah.
I mean, they're not far off,
Yeah.
and they did like crossovers too. So
No. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think they wrapped up everything. There
were some good action set pieces in this one.
Yeah, the whole thing.
Some of the best action Marvel's done in a long time, actually.
Yeah, all the action was fantastic. Sam with all his sweet aerial moves in the new suit. Okay, let's start there. First off, the new suit, which is comic book accurate. Right?
Very comic book accurate. Like almost down to like the lines and stuff.
Yeah.
You know.
I had some thoughts. At first, I was like, when he first like shows up on the scene, both Meg and I were like, "Oh, that's cool." And then for a hot second, I was like, with those bright whites and everything mixed in there, it kind of looked like a football uniform. but
I think it's I don't think that's. I think
don't think it's
that's
too
a
far
little
off.
intentional,
Yeah.
actually.
okay. All right.
My
I mean,
biggest
hey, America loves football.
so my biggest issue with the Falcon version of Captain America is that like he should really be wearing a helmet.
He is not bulletproof.
No, not at all.
No,
He
but
is not bulletproof, and he's flying.
But he's
Like,
got the wings and the shield
He
to protect him.
he barely clips his brain going at those speeds, dead on impact. Like dead.
I mean,
That's it. No more
Wakanda can
Falcon.
give him a vibranium helmet. Come on.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Do you think those wings are vibranium?
if you were going to use like Cap, arguably doesn't need a helmet. So like what I'm getting at is that like if they were going to take any part of the Cap suit and like bring it to Sam, I feel like the helmet would probably be the most logical piece.
Now, in the comic book, does he also still have his wings?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was like one of the coolest things was when his wings like stuck into the ground.
Pretty
to
much.
give him.
So pretty much everything that they did with Falcon in this episode and his suit, 100% comic accurate.
Yeah. I
So
saw a really
the
cool
scene-
bit of. Oh, go ahead.
The scene in Wonder Woman, the last Wonder Woman, where she uses that armor as a shield, those wing-looking things, that's
Yeah.
pretty much a rip on Falcon's wings, how they work.
Yeah. I saw a really rad piece of art earlier on Instagram. I think it was Alex Ross.
Was it a cover that he did?
Might have been. I've got it right here. Let me send it to you guys.
I think I know the one you're talking about. I think I've seen it.
Yeah, I put it in the chat. But it's got old man Steve in the background and Sam just like soaring through the air.
Oh yeah. So yeah, this is a cover on one of the books.
Okay. But yeah, I loved how they he integrated the wings and the shield into his whole fighting style. That like you said, like some of the best like Marvel action stuff, and him going up against I can never remember his name.
Batroc the Leaper.
Batroc, yeah. Kicky
Batroc.
McKickerson.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good time. Who they killed. They
Pew,
put him in the
pew.
ground. Yeah,
Yep.
he's done.
Oh yeah, I knew he wasn't gonna make it. Like he was too minor.
Yeah. But and I was very delighted that again they impressed me by not going the predictable route with Walker. He did not fall into the just full-on villain territory. He actually,
I mean, after the last episode with her coming to him, I was like, oh, they're definitely making him US agent. Like there's no way that they're not doing that.
Yeah. And it was really nice how they kept it. They didn't waste any time.
His shield didn't last very long though.
Oh yeah, we were cracking up about that. We did. It's just like boom, it just brushed away.
What did he make it out of fucking tin?
Pretty
Yeah.
much.
Did he use a bunch of like aluminum like cans to make his
Yeah, just an
fucking
old,
shield?
That's American beer cans right there.
an old
He
bumper.
made
Oh man, it would have been so good if the colors on the shield were made out of the red, white, and blue from Budweiser cans.
That'd be awesome. Oh jeez.
Oh.
I loved how they kept it. I mean, they showed even like a bit of a journey for him through the entire episode, through that whole fight, through that whole sequence, because in the beginning it seems he's just come for blood, just for what's her face?
Carly.
Carly Morgan.
Yeah. And even as Carly and her flag smashers are trying to, there's that moment where she sees Bucky catching up to them, so she's like, we need a distraction, so they just light up the vans on fire and everything, and so of course he has to take a pause to try to rescue them.
Has there been another character other than Carly Morgenthau that they've intentionally said the last name for just so it would stick?
Out of the flag smashers, I don't think so.
No,
Well,
any Marvel property.
Yeah, not really.
Every character is like a
Justin Hammer?
one-name character.
Justin Hammer, sure.
Yeah, that's all I can think of.
What was Mickey Rourke's Iron Man 2 guy?
Oh God.
Whiplash, but I don't remember the full, Russian name or whatever. All I remember is him saying, "I want my board." But anyway,
that's your bird. That's your bird. Not the same bird.
My board. So Walker, and eventually he chooses the side of good. There's that moment where that whole armored truck with the representatives or whatever are about to drop off the side of that fucking building, and he's got that moment where he has to choose to keep going after Carly or grab them, and sure enough, he goes for the civilians, which is awesome and really solidifies like him coming back from the dark side, which is nice. I like that they didn't like pause and make a big stink about it. Like the second that he shows up on the scene, like him and Bucky, they're just like getting the job done. Like there's no stopping and like, oh, it's you. Like, what are you here for? There's no like, bro, we need to talk about our feelings for a moment. It's just like, oh, okay, he's helping in this moment. Sure, okay, let's go do what needs to be done.
I also thought it was really it was a funny look to see him just like sort of jogging around without his shield.
Yeah.
I was just like he was like, I don't know where to put my hands.
Yeah, very awkward jaunt. Now on the flip side, so we got him swinging back in the direction of good. Sharon, however,
she was the power broker the whole time.
Surprise, surprise.
Yeah. I mean, towards the end there, it was like pretty fucking obvious, you know, like, but also, I don't know. Did you catch the end credit scene?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think she's gonna be in.
Well,
Armor
obviously,
Wars.
she's that makes sense. That would be a good place.
Yeah. So Sharon Carter.
There's also something that I think they might be setting up for Secret Invasion.
Could be a Secret Invasion.
There's this plotline in Secret Invasion, the end of Secret Invasion, and that leads into Dark Avengers actually, where everyone is using Stark tech. Like everyone is using Stark tech at this point. Stark is like taken over everything, and because of something that happens in Secret Invasion, all Stark tech worldwide instantly gets taken over by the Skrulls, and it allows the Skrulls to like effectively take over the planet in like less than a day. And so Stark has to go into hiding and stuff like that. I have a feeling that her like talking about like we have access to stuff is directly leading into Dark Avengers, and possibly somehow Secret Invasion. I can see where they're going in with this the next phase is really starting to come into view for me right now, because it looks what they're doing is they're just taking all the Bendis stuff from Bendis's like epic legendary run on Avengers that lasted like almost fucking 20 years. Like Avengers Disassembled, Civil War, Secret Invasion, Dark Avengers, Dark Reign, etc. They're taking all of this stuff, Initiative, and it looks like they're going to sprinkle all this stuff out throughout the next phase, because Dark Avengers is such a like there's so many connection points to like Secret Invasion and stuff that it's very clear that that's what they're doing.
So we got Walker as U.S. agent, and Lovely again cameo with Val. Don't call her that. Sharon.
Did I plan it, or maybe I didn't? You know, that was a good.
Or did I? Or did I? Sharon does get her pardon and uses it. Just basically solidified.
Not just a pardon, but like a welcome back into the intelligence community.
Yeah, where she's like, "Oh boy, like government secrets to be sold." She's in her bitches get money life, basically.
I still am really not liking. This just feels so wrong for Sharon's character, and I guess like I don't understand her motivations. It doesn't make sense yet. Like why is she so bitter? It just doesn't feel. Now she's like, we're gonna like manipulate people and kill innocent people. Like what? This does not. This feels way off.
I don't know, maybe it's a bit too hard of a swing, but I guess I understand from. I mean, the basic thing is she was all go Team America in Shield. Then all that fell to shit.
Yeah.
Then even when she was still trying to do the right thing, she basically was forced into exile from her own country. Left out to dry.
And then she was like, "Fuck it, I guess I'll just like become a warlord."
I just said, I'm in it for me, I guess. Yeah, fuck bitches get money.
Yeah. I mean,
and now like perfectly happy to sell their secrets to the highest bidder because why not? I'm just in it for myself now. I don't know. Maybe more.
They're gonna have to sell me on. They're gonna have to sell me on this a little bit like harder because this turn is not working for me. But sure,
she's all about the Benjamins.
I mean, it's Peggy Carter's
all about
fucking
the Benjamin.
granddaughter.
Yeah, I mean, she literally like kissed America's ass, you know, like.
And Zemo was a Nazi.
Yeah, true.
So, you know.
Well, he ended up, you know, he got his senseless killing, so I guess like he hasn't changed too much.
No. Well, it was I did like that. I mean, there was that final touch with him, his butler or servant to whoever was
blowing up the rest of the Flag Smashers, and then
him
smashers. Casually laying back in bed with a smile.
Yeah.
So my sister and I's watch of the Infinity Saga came to an end 2 nights ago.
Oh, okay.
We watched Endgame. She hadn't seen it. I've seen it a couple times now. Man, Endgame is so good, but like it was really interesting to see the beginning of Sam and Bucky's new journey. And then literally the next day, yesterday, I watched the last episode and see the end of this journey. Yeah. And really just like Cap really is so iconic, especially in his last appearances. I mean, he's literally fucking wielding Mjolnir and I didn't notice this before. He just is like, he takes Mjolnir with him at the end of Endgame.
Well, yeah, because he has to put it back into the timeline.
Oh, that's right. He's not just like, oh, this is mine now.
He's just, no, this is just mine.
I'm just gonna hang out with this. Yeah. But it was, I was a little surprised that we didn't get any sort of, I thought in the last episode we would get some answer to what's going on with him, like something, just like some, a little nod. I didn't expect him to show up or anything, but
yeah, they just in that previous episode. 2 points I want to make about the previous week's episode, the downtime with Sam and Bucky. They do word it. I forget who says it, one of the two guys, but they say, but Steve is gone now. So meaning he's either passed away from old age or he went back to, back into the timeline, I guess, wherever he came from.
I thought he was on the moon.
Yeah, he's on the moon.
That was funny.
But yeah, but they kind of.
I don't think he's dead. I definitely don't think he's dead.
I don't think he's dead either.
Maybe not. But the way they said it was kind of like, hey, Steve is gone now. Like he's not part of the equation.
Well, he's definitely an old fucking man. Like he can't go out go adventuring anymore unless.
Yeah, I think it's just he's made it known to them that he is unavailable. Yeah. Like, do not come to me.
He just vanished into the He will remain in the West and be Galadriel or whatever. Whatever that line is. Oh, the other thing I was going to mention about the previous episode when, when Sam and Bucky are talking, Bucky says when he's addressing, Steve giving the shield to Sam, giving, the mantle to Sam, he said, when Steve told me what he was planning. So that changes that moment at the end of
he already knew
for us. Yeah. Because that felt like an awkward moment where, Steve goes to do his thing in the timeline. He's supposed to come back, and then we see him as an old man on the bench. And it's that very poignant moment where you think like, well, his best buddy for life is gonna, go want to talk to him. But Bucky just has this knowing look, and he's like, hey, you go over, like Sam, go talk to him.
Yeah.
And so now it makes more sense. It's like, oh, he already knew what he was planning the whole time. So anyway, moving on to Sam. Everything with him I fucking loved. There was
They did a really good job.
Up to this week, there was even people thinking like, oh, will we get an appearance from Steve, like a little cameo? But I think that would have cheapened the episode because this is Sam solidifying him. Yeah, Sam coming to the forefront and letting go of that Steve legacy.
This is unquestionable now. Yeah, like this is not about Steve anymore. This isn't Steve's story anymore.
Exactly. Yeah. Sam's entire speech to the world and to those, that was wish fulfillment. He was all of us screaming at politicians how we would love to, like,
honestly,
politicians by the scruff and telling them
what. And I've been thinking about this whole show the last couple of days. Like, this show came out at like the most poignant time in like, it's so synchronistic. Like it's crazy. Like the themes are, I know that these themes are, larger than just this moment in time, but they feel very, very, very pointed.
Mm-hmm. Telling a politician to their face, like, you have the power, just help
get it done. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, but you don't understand. It's complicated. No, it doesn't have to be.
I don't care. Yeah. I don't care if it's complicated. Just do it.
Yeah.
Because the only other option is you let people suffer.
Yeah.
And
then the next Carly Morgenthau comes along.
And say what you will about politics and, Trump versus Biden. We have been shown in the last year specifically that we have the will, we have the power as a nation to really do whatever we want. It's just the things that we choose or choose not to do. We have the will, we have the money, we have the infrastructural power to do huge things. We have just collectively chosen over the last 30 to 40 years not to do those things. And that's what Sam is saying. And I feel like right now that is something that we need to hear. And it was put very eloquently. I was just like, everything he was saying, I was like, damn, like he just told you to not call these people fucking terrorists. Like that is a not unradical idea, like
it was the most
very surprised.
Hard on your sleeve, just very direct moment that we've had through the entire show, and which makes sense for Captain America. Like that's what he embodies.
It's easy to say that like there's a naivete in what he's saying, but that's not sort of the point. That is the point that Cap, and that's why Walker could never be Captain America, because Captain America isn't about the shield, and it's not about is he a serviceman. It's not about the super soldier serum. It's about his ethics and his point of view. That's what makes Cap.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the the denouement with Isaiah. It's like, well, you're no Mandela, and no King, but you're special.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, it is interesting because especially like with the speech that he just gave, it did feel like he's going to have to be more of an icon than even Steve was.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And him taking the moment of him taking Isaiah to his addition to the museum, whatever that.
Yeah.
That was a tearjerker.
I did have a little like nerd nitpick moment with that. I was like, wait, so nobody knows who he is. So these Smithsonian dudes just like dug up all this shit on him in what, like 3 hours?
Well, they don't really say how much time has passed, did they?
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just was just like, I thought they erased his entire existence.
It's the government. They always have papers and documents and redacted files.
Yeah.
That's true.
So yeah, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, good times.
Yeah, I still think that my main criticisms throughout the plotting, still even to the last episode, there were like little moments where I was just like, this feels like a badly put together puzzle, like someone forced pieces into the wrong place and it clearly doesn't match. But it just made it, when you stood back and looked at it, it made it look weird. But when you looked at the individual connections, it was fine.
Yeah. And then that same day, this past Friday, the series finale airing, the news came out that an Anthony Mackie starring Captain America 4 feature film is in the works, helmed by the showrunner, Malcolm Spellman.
Yeah. They're going to have a lot less plot to deal with, so hopefully they can iron that out a little bit.
Yeah.
I thought Carly's death was sort of stupid. I felt like everything surrounding her death was just like a little not good. Just generally.
Well, we knew she wasn't going to survive.
I knew that she wasn't going to survive. I mean, we even mentioned it last week, but I just felt like she was a decent character, so I wish that she would have gotten a little bit better of a send-off, but that didn't happen, so whatever.
Yeah. But I think she was well, solidified on her path. Which in the terms of the dramatic arc, helped service, part of Sam's whole point during his speech,
that's true. Yeah.
She was radicalized by the world not giving a shit.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, while we look forward to Cap 4 and many adventures to come, we got ourselves some Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat.
Wait. This is the 2021 version, so it's
I will say it was a very, very strange experience playing Mortal Kombat while watching Mortal Kombat, because like right as spoilers, Kung Lao dies, I was actually playing Kung Lao in the game and I got like massacred by Sub-Zero, and I was like, wow, this is crazy. So I don't think he was actually fighting Sub-Zero at the point.
Yeah. So a lot to chew on with this movie.
Oh boy.
There's a lot that I enjoyed.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
I was like, it was happening and I was doing other stuff while I was doing it and I was having fun. And that's it. That's pretty much it.
Right from the get-go, I liked a lot of I'm not even familiar with a lot of like the lore of, expanded lore, but I remember Todd mentioning that he saw those first like 7 minutes that they released and how they were going deep on that, especially with
they used the original. Yeah, they use the original character names. They use the name of the first Sub-Zero character, the one that dies at the end of the first game.
Yeah.
So,
well, Hanzo was Scorpion. Yeah, I enjoyed that. I guess the origin of the hook, whatever, it was a gardening tool. His little knife or whatever.
So that actually has legit origins in samurai culture because
isn't it called a kunai?
Yeah, it's a kunai, and during the later parts of the samurai era, common citizens were forbidden to carry weapons. Like you could not have swords, knives, any kind of weapons. So that farming implement was the perfect tool for ninjas and or other people who wanted to remain anonymous while carrying weapons. Oh no, officer, this is just a gardening tool.
Right.
This stick on my back is just a walking stick.
Interesting. You would the Gandalf moment? Oh, you wouldn't part an old man from his walking stick.
Yeah.
Wait, so Todd, which character was the original Sub-Zero? The one in the movie?
Yes.
Okay.
So
That's what I thought. I have like come and go in Mortal Kombat lore. Like I've played almost every single game, but not a lot. And I've seen the original movie, and like I've like gone in and out of paying attention and not paying attention. So like I know a little bit about the lore, but not a lot about the lore.
So the lore is kind of like all over the place. It goes through a lot of resets.
Because there's like a lot of reboots, and like there's time travel and shit.
Yeah. In fact, that's the whole point of Mortal Kombat 11 is a time travel plot.
But
So,
was it also Mortal Kombat, the reboot from 2011, also a time travel plot?
I think that was the merging of the worlds plot.
Because that was Raiden was like going back in time to like stop events that had. Anyways,
Marty, you gotta come back with me.
Oh my god. What are Sub-Zero an asshole or something?
Sub-Zero's always been an asshole.
So lots of fan service right out the get. You've got first off, we got McCad Brooks, who aka Jimmy Olsen from Supergirl, has
holy fuck, he got ripped.
Oh yeah, I guess that's
Like,
why
he
he
was-
left. That's why he left the show, was to spend all that time getting jacked as fucked.
Like, he was skinny Jimmy.
Wait,
like, he's always tall.
Wait, that's
but
the same guy?
yes,
From Supergirl, yeah. Uh-huh.
that's Jimmy Olsen from Supergirl. He was
the mustache.
tall.
You didn't know because of the mustache. Wait, let him take out his toothpick.
I was gonna say it's Jackie Daytona.
Jackie Daytona. But then right at the very beginning, where he introduces himself to Cole, Scorpion's Hanzo's descendant, in the little MMA, or
A failed
boxing,
MMA
whatever.
fighter, by the way.
Yeah. But he says, there's a little line where Jax tells him, like, oh yeah, you're the guy who took the championship from Eddie Tobias. Did you catch that?
Tobias Boone. Yeah.
Ed Boon and John Tobias.
Yeah.
Toasty.
Yeah. I kind of wrote like scattered notes just to remind myself, but I was enjoying the movie. We got that quick intro with Jax, and then he gets his ass handed to him, of course.
So as soon as I saw Jax and Sub-Zero, I was like, his arms are gonna get frozen off.
Yeah.
And that's how he loses his arms. Which is
Yeah,
actually a good way to do it.
Yeah, I didn't want to say anything because I didn't want to spoil it for Meg, but I was like, oh, I know how this is going to play out.
Yeah.
Actually, I already knew because it shows you right in the poster for the film.
Yeah, it shows you
And
in the
Jax
trailer.
has mechanical arms.
Yeah, it's
so I'm
cybernetic arms.
like, okay, I already know his arms are gonna get blown off. And then when they give him the janky, like, mechanical arms, I know those aren't the final
Yeah,
form.
the little Johnny Five arms.
Those things are
Even Kano joked, you with your baby arms.
Oh, I mean, we can all like collectively come together and say that like Kano completely stole this movie.
Oh,
right?
he was the best
absolutely.
Like
part of the
100%.
Yeah,
So much so that I was like, how did they kill him? He's the only interesting part of this fucking movie.
Yeah.
He
So
doesn't
my-
die. Nobody in the Mortal Kombat universe dies. He's
Yeah,
coming
That's
back.
true.
So
Yeah.
the next two notes I
They
had.
just put in a couple quarters and get another life.
Yeah. So the next two notes that I had were just Sonya is tasked with the info dump.
Oh yeah.
That's all her character serves a purpose for, and Kano is fun. That's it. Just Kano is fun.
They did Reptile
And-
dirty. They
Oh,
just-
Reptile.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
You mean 1998 Godzilla?
Well, because isn't the whole thing that like he like takes a human form later on, but he actually was like a reptile?
Yeah, he is a reptile that
I
can
thought
take
he was
human form.
like a man reptile hybrid or something.
Kano?
No, reptile. I mean, in
the
like,
lizard monster that they fight in the trailer.
Yeah.
I mean, in the original games, he just looks like Sub-Zero Scorpion, just wearing green.
Yeah, it's just a
But then he
tile
takes
swap.
off his mask and it's
Yeah.
a like lizard face and he
Yeah.
shoots spit at you.
He's like a Gorn, basically.
yeah, he's a Gorn.
Yeah,
He's an Argonian from Skyrim.
there you go. Goro was pretty dope. I think he died a little quickly, but
Yeah, he died like a
Yeah.
chump.
Yeah.
To a
He-
fucking
Well, doesn't-
nobody.
Doesn't his sister come in later games to
Queen
avenge his
Shiva.
death?
Shiva,
Well,
yeah.
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 Yeah. But
Well, then there's another female version from his race from MK11.
No, that's
Oh.
Queen Shiva.
Oh, it is? Okay.
That's Queen
Same
Shiva.
I haven't played as her yet. So.
right.
I don't think she's a
She-
playable character.
Oh, okay.
Okay. But yeah, as soon as Goro went after Cole's family, I was like, oh, this is just a vehicle for Cole to like
Get his superpower.
Get
Get his
his power.
arcana.
Yeah.
So that was the other problem with this movie is every single bit of it was so predictable from the very start.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I was like telling
Yeah.
Tony exactly what was happening before it happened, and then it happens, and it was just not surprising at all.
Yeah. Now I haven't played a lot of the later games. Is Cole an actual character
No.
from the games?
No, he's invented.
So
Okay.
the reason why Cole is a thing is they didn't want to use Johnny. Well, originally the character was going to be Johnny Cage,
Mhm.
and they didn't want to use Johnny Cage because he's a white male. They wanted to
Yeah.
sort of POC the cast up.
Well, also, Johnny Cage being the main character in the first movie didn't make any fucking sense because the main character is in the games.
No,
or at
he was
least-
the main character. He was one of the first 4 original.
No, I
Defenders.
know that, but like, he's not like the best. Like, it was always Liu Kang.
Yeah, Liu Kang is the champion, the chosen one, but
Yeah.
Johnny Cage is the audience stand-in, like every
Surrogate. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I always felt like Johnny Cage having like being effectively the protagonist of the first movie never made any fucking sense to me, and I always felt
Well, he
like
wasn't. He was kind of a side like pseudo protagonist. Liu Kang was the protagonist.
Yeah, Liu
guess
Kang
you're
was
right.
definitely,
Yeah. Yeah, I am the chosen one.
and John Lambert too.
I mean,
That's true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, of course.
It's fucking John Lambert.
Yeah.
Oh, so good. Christopher Lambert.
Christopher
Yeah.
Lambert.
Remember, yeah.
Yeah.
But come on, I mean, who else is gonna punch Goro in the balls? There was no Goro ball punching. I was very disappointed with this film.
Yeah.
But you know, we get the tease at the end. You know, oh yeah, I'm going.
you
I'm
guys-
gonna go out to
you guys
Hollywood.
know-
and then see the poster.
All of the stuff about like Johnny Cage and why Johnny Cage is Johnny Cage, right?
What do you mean?
Johnny Cage in the original Mortal Kombat was not supposed to be Johnny Cage. He was supposed to be Jean-Claude Van Damme
Oh
from
yeah,
Bloodsport
I do remember that. Yeah.
because they were trying to get the license for Bloodsport.
Yeah. So yeah,
Just-
I was wondering. I didn't want to like look up stuff and get spoiled by the film, but I was wondering the whole time, like, is Cole an actual character from like the later games? Because you know, I get the whole. I thought it was cool.
I
the whole
mean, he will
descendant
be
of
now.
Cole. Yeah, but I was trying to like Meg and I were trying to figure out like, oh, his power, and I was like, well, he really is reminding me of Spawn right now, like this like living suit sort of thing that's part of him that he's
So,
like.
Didn't
tidbit-
like it.
tidbit
Oh.
about that armor. The design on the armor is supposed to be the same as the design on the basket that that his ancestor is found in. So in the first 7 minutes of the movie where Raiden
Right.
finds the baby,
That's fucking weak.
yeah,
I'm sorry. I did not like his character design
his
at all.
I hated everything about his fucking
Yes.
character.
I
Just-
mean, I actually I thought his character was fine. I didn't find him particularly interesting, but I didn't dislike him. But like the design specifically, it really I was just like, so he's got his Arcana is a
he can take damage and then deal it out. That's his design.
Oh yeah, he had it was a Wakanda suit. It was a Black Panther suit.
Yeah.
He took kinetic energy and shot it back out.
expelled it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, like the suit itself looked really poorly done. Like the quality of it just looked like straight up Halloween store to me.
No, it looks
It's-
goofy as fuck.
It's
Yeah.
PVC just molded on him. It's not even CG.
Yeah, it was terrible.
I'll tell you a design I did enjoy. It was a lot of fun. Cabal.
Cabal was amazing. Yes.
It's pretty
What
rad.
the fuck was up with Cabal? He
And
was like
so-
pointing the whole time. I was like, what is going on?
Yeah, I
His-
thought I recognized the voice, but I couldn't place it. Meg was like, "How do we know that voice?" And I was trying to
Who was
think.
it?
and I was like, well, it turned out not being anybody that I
Buddy, okay.
am very familiar with, but the actor in the suit was just a stunt actor, but he's been in a lot of stuff. Daniel Nelson, but the voice was Damon Harriman, who, funny enough, played Charles Manson in both the Mindhunter Netflix series and Tarantino's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I recognize that guy.
Yeah.
Huh.
on the flip side, they did a very good job on making a voice that's supposed to be coming from a mask and like actually understandable. Like you can understand
but they also made it look goofy as fuck.
Hey, the character looked awesome.
I didn't mind
I
it.
mean, he
at all.
looked fine. It was just very clear that it was like an actor and a voice actor, and their movements and head timing were not matching up.
Yeah.
But the more I thought about it, and the more it incorporated like his connections to Kano, I was like, okay, this sounds like another like scummy mercenary guy that would have dealings with Kano. So it makes sense. He's just got the Vader suit on.
I didn't like that they just gave Kano like a magic laser eye out of nowhere.
Yeah, I kept expecting it to get.
And also, like Jax's arms are now like magic robot arms.
Sure.
Robots can be magic.
Sure, I guess so. Like that's yes, but like I mean, I think my favorite game in the entire franchise is Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 because it was the one that came out when I was like 8 years old. You know.
Yeah.
Or
unless
like
you're MK2, everybody's favorite was Ultimate 3, and that's the one that had the biggest roster too. Like that had literally every.
There was like
character.
all the new features with like you could unlock new characters by doing the little lottery thing at the bottom.
2 was my favorite.
The codes.
Oh, sorry. 2 was my favorite because I played the fuck out of that on Super Nintendo.
Do you think we're gonna get the robot versions of characters in this game? Like, are we gonna get like Robot Smoke and Cyrex and like?
I think we'll get Cyrex and Sector at some point in the franchise.
Sector, yeah. No Robot Smoke though.
I don't think we'll get Robot Smoke or the robot
or Robot Scorpion.
Scorpion or Sub-Zero. I don't think those two are coming robot versions.
Well, I have a feeling that do you think they're going to do the post-apocalyptic storyline?
Of course.
3?
After
the next one.
At some point they're going to merge the worlds. At some point.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what happens in the game?
So how it happens is the first one is just straight up Mortal Kombat. Second one, again, just straight up Mortal Kombat, but like with extra characters. And then the third one is at the end of Mortal Kombat 2, canonically, we lose. And
that's the 10th tournament.
And that's the 10th tournament where the universes are merging. So that's why there's like levels that partially take place in the Nether Realm and partially on Earth.
Outworld,
not Nether Realm.
Now here's where we get to my biggest problem with this movie. Like overall, I enjoyed it. Like it was dumb fun, which is what I expected it to be. I am very tired. I'm very winded of Shameless franchise setup. Like I'm pissed that they didn't just tell a fucking complete story. Like Shang Tsung just kind of goes, "I'll get you next time."
There was no Mortal Kombat tournament in this movie.
No,
there was no Mortal Kombat.
Tournament.
Yeah, this was just like the alley fight outside before the event starts. Like this is the movie Mortal Kombat,
which is pretty and that's pretty fucking shameless, honestly. Like especially since the first movie just went there, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if they were doing The Matrix filming back to back. And they had like 3 movies ready to go year after year after year. Okay, I can see you kind of doing the edging before the event.
But it's going to be 2.5 years until the next movie comes out.
Yeah.
See,
especially because of the pandemic.
This feels like the guys behind this are trying to Zack Snyder this shit up. Like, don't worry, guys, we're going to have a whole movie full of setup. So 3 movies down the line, the real battle happens. Like, but then your first movie bombs and then you know, everybody's just left hanging. Like it's,
I mean, I don't think it's going to bomb.
I think
it's actually probably going to, I think it's going to do pretty well because a lot of movie theaters are opening up right now. And this is going to be one of the first movies that people are able to see in theaters.
I think it'll be fine. It's just,
and I'm guessing that a lot of people watched it on HBO Max too, just because there are a lot of Mortal Kombat fans. Like,
so it actually did pretty well in theaters. So right now it's trending at a 22 mil, which is not the biggest. I think Godzilla vs. Kong was bigger, like 40 or 50 mil. But still 22 mil is not
I mean, it
bad.
came out on Friday, right? Or
Yeah.
Thursday?
Yeah.
Yeah, 22 million for 2 days when like how many theaters are still shut down, you know? Theaters in my city are still not open. So wait, actually, I don't know if that's true or not.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Wonder Woman only did 23 over its whole run.
yeah. And Raya and the Last Dragon made $8 million.
It's made 40 now. So
Now,
I mean, it's
but
kind
opening
of made
weekend
up.
it made $8 million.
Yeah, that's a little rough.
That's very rough.
Yeah. Maybe we're spoiled by these massive TV shows that we have now and whatnot. But it just seems to me like if you're gonna pull something like this, if you're gonna have this long extended story where you're chasing after the same bad guy over several,
They
features,
absolutely could have made
like,
this a show instead of a movie.
yeah, just make it a fucking show. Like, make it a fucking show instead of us waiting like several years before the next.
Jerk
Well,
off?
they tried to make it into a show. There was rumors that there was going to be a Mortal Kombat television show a couple years ago that was going to be made by the same guys who made the like mini series. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
I do remember that
because that miniseries was fucking amazing.
It was like
And it was rumored that it was going to be turned into a full series, and then I heard around the same time that Warner Brothers changed their minds, and rather than doing a show, they wanted movies.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, so here's how I feel about it. It was fine. I enjoyed it. I wish that I'd liked it more, but I was also really distracted because I was trying to kill people. But I feel like I knew exactly how it was going to go, and I was not surprised in any way by what I got. And I'm actually surprised that I want another one as much as I do. So
yeah,
So for me-
I'm griping here, but I'm like, damn it! Now, if they do put out another one, of course I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah, so for me, if they put out another one, I'll definitely watch it. I might watch this one once or twice more, depending
I'll
on.
probably rewatch it actually.
Yeah,
Kano is worth a
on-
rewatch.
yeah,
if anything.
Kano
Yeah,
alone.
because he was really
So-
funny.
pros and
damn.
cons. Pros for this movie for me. Kano was a fucking amazing. Set design was amazing. Costumes and set design was amazing. The choreography was actually really good,
Yeah,
considering
the fight scenes
the-
were really good.
Yeah, it was.
considering the Western like kung fu movies that we've had recently and kung fu TV shows that we've had recently. It was actually really good.
Mhm.
I would say all of the fan servicey moments were fun and funny. So I mean, I didn't mind that. The fucking low kick scene with Liu Kang and Kano
That was really good.
was
That was
amazing.
really funny.
I got you. Oh fuck. Boom. Well, Joe Taslim, the actor who played Sub-Zero, he is at least signed on for 4 sequels. So
Yeah, I mean, there's so much mythology there at this point.
Yeah, they've got enough to play
So
with.
many characters at this point.
isn't
Like-
Noob Saibot officially like the undead version of Sub-Zero? Or am I getting that wrong?
No, he's another. Actually, yeah, no, he is that character. That first character, the first Sub-Zero. I keep forgetting his name. But that's Noob Saibot, basically.
Okay.
He dies at the beginning of he dies at the end of the
So
first
who's
tournament.
Smoke?
Smoke
Ugh.
is another character altogether.
Okay.
All right.
Just all the color swapped ninjas. from
Well,
the
I mean,
first-
look at all the female characters; they're all the same.
yeah,
Melina,
Melina.
Katana,
Yeah.
Yeah.
the third one.
Just
Wait, so
the
Jade.
blades
the one
and
who-
scary
the-
faces.
So the one who was in this one, that was Melina.
It was Melina.
Yeah, that's Melina, right? That's what I thought.
Yes. No.
Yeah, it was Melina.
Yeah, Melina, not Jade.
Who was the flying chick?
New. I think that's a new character.
Okay, because I was like, I haven't even like. It's been a long time since I played and completed a Mortal Kombat game. It's been since 2011, so I totally missed Mortal Kombat 10.
I think the last one I was telling you before we started recording, Byron, I think the last one that I remember us playing it all. Well, I watched Meg play.
That's the last one that's the one that I played. Is the one that
Armageddon or Deception or something like that.
No. You pulled it out. You showed me. It's the PS3 one. It's the
Oh,
one
there's
from
that one.
2000
Yeah.
The one from 2011.
Yeah. And then there was
I-
Armageddon or Deception was the one with like the RPG elements where
It's
you're
the
actually running
Xbox
around.
one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I played all of them through like I played all of them up to 4, and then they had the weird like
The
spin-off.
3D. Yeah, they were trying to do Soul Calibur with weapons and shit.
Yeah, and then I played X and then have 11. So
What was the one that was the more RPG one that came out in like 2004, 2005
I
ish?
think it was Deception.
Deception. Yeah.
Deception.
Yeah.
That game made me want to have a PS2 to play it on.
That game was really fun, actually.
It was
because
a
there's
lot
so
of
much
fun.
side stuff that you get to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like my ex at the time had it, and they got so pissed off because all I ever wanted to do was play that game whenever we were together. So much so that I begged my mom to get me a PS2 with that game. And then I replayed the whole thing on my own at home because I loved it so much.
Yeah.
So one last thing about video games, real quick.
Mhm.
I finally got this in the mail. That finally came.
Nice.
The limited run games physical like release of Scott Pilgrim versus the World finally came with and I got the alternate. Well, it's not actually an alternate cover. It's just
nice. Yeah, we had the original version. I think we still have it installed on our PS3. I just remember it being hard as shit.
It's really hard. It's really, really hard. I played it for like 45 minutes the other day and I couldn't even get past the first level.
Yeah, I think with Tony and I both playing it, because it's a multiplayer game, we barely got to like level 2 or 3 together.
Well, so it is based on, it is like heavily inspired by River City Rampage. So the whole thing about River City Rampage is you're supposed to level up your character and then the game starts to get easier.
Okay.
So like
You have to grind it out.
Yeah, you have to grind it out and like raise your stats and you get more life and etc.
But at that point, you just get so frustrated dying all the time.
Yeah.
That you don't really want to play it anymore.
It's also designed to be a multiplayer game, so it's less hard when you're playing with multiplayers. But
Yeah.
you know, I'm a sad, lonely, single man, so I have no one to play video games with.
Oh.
The frustrating thing about the most recent Mortal Kombat titles is they really fucking milk the DLC. Like,
Oh yeah.
dramatically.
That's all fighting games now. I've noticed the rosters are super reduced, and they have shit ass DLC policies where they'll really reduce like maybe 2 more fighters from previous rosters for like $10.
Yeah.
And the same things happened with Soul Calibur, with Marvel versus Capcom. Like the last Marvel versus Capcom that came out, the roster was fucking tiny, and Marvel versus Capcom is supposed to have a gigantic roster.
Yeah.
That's just the trend of fighting games lately. That's
MV,
pretty much why I don't play.
MVC
2
still the best.
Pinnacle. That's the,
Yeah,
I think that's the
absolute,
best
like,
fighting game that's ever come out.
Yeah, it's probably like I really like Street Fighter Alpha 3 too as well. But yeah,
MK3 Ultimate is a contender.
yeah,
but
Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 is really good too.
Street Fighter 2 Turbo is also a classic.
Yeah, Street Fighter 2 Turbo, yeah, or like Tournament Edition, you know.
I played the shit out of that on Street Fighter 2 Turbo on SNES at home, and I always had to enter the hyper fighting code, so it got even faster.
Yeah.
Nice. If I ever get a bigger apartment or a house, that's the first like man cave purchase that I'm gonna try to make is get a
one of the arcade one-up.
Yeah, Turbo
cabinets.
or yeah.
And that version comes with like I think 5 different versions of the game.
Yeah, the SNK.
Yeah.
Well, if we get up to Portland, we'll have to hit up that barcade or whatever it was for sure.
A bunch of cabinets.
Word. All right, guys. Thank you for joining. This is Tony.
This is Todd.
This is Byron.
And Meg.
Hey, Todd. Who won the game?
Fucking Padres did.
Wah, wah.
Wah, wah, wah.
All right. Adios.